Hello friends, my name is Mogi, and here's Boris. Boris, hey. We are gonna go get some worms today because I'm gonna make a worm bin. Welcome to this video of how to make a worm bin, because this is the first time I've ever made a worm bin. You're gonna join me on making a worm bin and learning how to love worm babies. I'm so excited, I'm gonna be a worm mom. Boris, you're gonna have worm siblings, aren't you excited? Alright, so Boris and I have traveled to a place called City Farmers Nursery here in San Diego. We're here to pick up worms because I called earlier and they said they have these giant bags for like $15, or I can use a coffee cup and go fill it up with as many worms as I can and then pay for that. It was like $5 per mug. So I'm going to decide how much I need once I get over there, but I'm excited to see this worm situation and my potential worm children. Boris, are you ready? Get me out of this car. So we're here at City Farmers and Boris and I are exploring their animals. Right now there's turkeys behind me, we've got goats, a couple other different things like some chickens and turtles. But mostly they have native plants and some other plants that you can plant in your yard, like exotics, just a couple of different fruits and vegetables. And then they have all of these like eco-friendly gardening things within their store. So all the different healthy fertilizers that won't be too bad for the environment if they become runoff and get into our streams. And they work really hard to keep our community healthy and happy, so eco-conscious and environmental. They have all these different workshops for people to learn how to make their own pickles or learn how to compost so that they can use their own food waste to grow their own food, which I think is awesome. Otherwise, our food waste just ends up in the landfill. And I've been preaching this to kids because I'm an environmental educator, like all day, every day. And I don't do it, so that's why I'm here today. Alright, so Boris and I are home now. I'm eating a pear, and I'm thinking about how if there's any food waste from this, I can give it to my worms soon. They're right here, just chilling in the backyard. I need to get them into my old compost bin. So here's where my old compost bin is right now. So it gets a lot of sun throughout the day, and it's like almost 2 o'clock right now, so it's still too much in the sun for what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna move it into the shade, and then I can put my worms in it with all the other ingredients. So the compost bin is all cleared out and ready for me to put my wormies in it, but they need a bedding first. So you have to strip newspaper into long strips, and then until it fills the bottom of your bin, and it's like a nice cushy bedding for them, and then you put your wormies in it. It has holes in the top, it's got kind of some holes on the side, and then down at the bottom so it can drain out if it's starting to get really full. And I'm just gonna throw all of my newspaper in, and once I have it kind of filled up a bit more, I can dump in all my worms. Okay, so here's my artwork. Look at that. It's such a beautiful worm bed, and my worms are gonna be so comfy and happy. I mean, I'd sleep on that if like I wasn't about to just wet it down with water in a minute. Okay, so the next step is then I gotta water it down a little bit with some nature's juice. Nature's juice water, fresh from the source. To live in and to be able to crawl around in. It's a comfy home for them if it's more moist, and but not too wet because I don't want them to like drown, and it'll be too wet and moist for all the food that I add into it, and so that'll attract lots of gross vermin like rats and other things like flies. We don't want flies. Ugh. Finally get to put my worms in the bin, and I officially become a worm farmer. Can't wait to add that to my resume. So here's the bag. This is about 10 pounds of worms in their worm bedding. So here's a wormy. These are little red earthworms. These guys will eat all of the food waste that I put in there and turn it into really nutritious wormy poop that I can then plant plants in. Last thing is to just cover them up with a couple pieces of newspaper so they retain the moisture a little bit better and they're protected. This is my way of studying the ecology of worms in my backyard and also being an environmentalist and an artist. This is totally arts and crafts. This is my worm bin journal. I used an old planner to make this journal and I'm going to just keep track of how they're doing every week. I'm going to feed them at the end of this next week with whatever food waste that we collect, and then I'll write about it. So I have all these facts about worms though. So here's some facts that I learned about these guys. They're really magical to me and wonderful, and I think that they should be to you, just like a lot of the things on our planet are really cool, but we tend to forget to think about them. There's about 2,700 different types of worms, of these earthworms in the world, so different species doing different functions in different ecosystems. These guys are made out of a lot of different parts, so if you could look really closely at it, you would see that they have all these lines on them. So that's why they can break into different parts, because they have lots of different parts. So they can be broken up by something and then continue to live on. They're also hermaphroditic, so they're all the different sexes. They secrete nitrogen, which plants need to grow. So that's why one reason that they're really good for your garden. They're from the annelid, the class annelid. So they are little invertebrates, not vertebrates like us. Do they look like they have a backbone? No, no backbone. Invertebrates, annelids. Science for you today. They'll eat their weight in a day, so he'll eat this much in a day if he has the opportunity to. So try and feed them as much as I can so they get nice and fat and big. Worms are really cool. Thanks for watching my video and learning how to make a worm bin. Anybody can make a worm bin. Have fun with it. Enjoy your wormy friends and save all of that food waste that was going to end up in the landfill and go to nothing. Use it for something new. Even if you won't use it, I'm sure you know somebody who loves to garden and that can use your soil too. See you guys later. Bye. Ooh, look, got cut up while I was raising baby worms. This is a serious process. You need to be prepared, get your first responder certification before you make your worm bin.